So, you're running multiple WooCommerce stores, and you know exactly how fast that amazing growth can start to feel, well, a little chaotic. Today, we're going to break down the playbook for scaling your e-commerce empire in 2025 so you can stay streamlined, secure, and seriously successful.
Does this sound familiar? You're logging in and out of different admin panels all day, trying to keep track of inventory across different brands, managing like 3 separate shipping queues. It's a constant juggle. But what if you could manage all of it from a single secure cockpit? Well, you absolutely can. And it all starts with one really crucial decision.
Okay, before you can centralize a single thing, you have to choose your foundational architecture, the bedrock of your whole setup. There are really 3 main paths you can take, and picking the right one for your business is, without a doubt, the most important first step to taming all that complexity. So this first big choice really comes down to a simple question. Do you want all your stores living under one single roof, or do you want them in separate houses on the same street? A WordPress multi-site, that's the single roof. It's one installation hosting a whole network of sites. Separate installs? Well, those are the individual houses, giving each store its own totally isolated environment. Let's dig into the trade-offs for each.
A multi-site setup is kind of perfect for brand families, or maybe country-specific stores, or even for splitting up your B2B and B2C operations. The huge advantage here is unified maintenance. You've got one WordPress core to update for all your stores. The main trade-off, though, is that the stores are separate by design, so sharing data like inventory between them requires some specific add-ons.
Now, the alternative is using separate installs, which gives you this hard isolation between brands. That's ideal for security and for custom performance tuning. And while that might sound like everything's in a silo, you can still centralize your key operations. You can use third-party tools that connect to all your separate stores to manage stock or fulfillment from one place, giving you the best of both worlds: isolation and centralization. And for those with really complex needs, there is a third option: going with an API-first approach. In this setup, all your stores connect to a central hub. That could be an ERP, which handles all the business logic, or a PIM, which manages all your product data. It's by far the most flexible and powerful setup, but it's really best for larger teams who have some development resources on hand. Okay, so once you've picked your architecture, the very next step is to centralize your day-to-day operations. This is where you're going to see the biggest, most immediate wins in efficiency and accuracy, and it doesn't matter which of those 3 strategies you chose. We can really boil this all down to 3 essential building blocks. First, you've got to handle your international customers with multiple currencies and languages. Second, you need to sync your inventory and product catalogs so you're not accidentally selling the same item twice. And third, you want to bring all your orders and your shipping into one single unified workflow. True cross-border success is about more than just showing prices in dollars or euros. You have to nail the technical details. For example, using harfling tags, which are really just small bits of code that tells Google which language and regional version of your site to show to which user. Getting details like this and your regional pricing right is absolutely critical for both your SEO and your sales. Centralization is a complete game changer for fulfillment. Just imagine your team no longer has to log into 10 different dashboards. Instead, orders from all your stores just flow into one shipping hub. Having that single workstation is how you crush errors, speed up your shipping times, and make returns way, way simpler. All right, we've talked strategy, we've talked operations, but now let's address a massive and often overlooked risk: security. When your team is constantly logging into multiple admin panels, you're basically opening the door to some pretty serious vulnerabilities. This risk really comes down to something called session isolation. See, your standard browser, like Chrome or Firefox, shares data like cookies across all of its tabs. So if you're logged into Store A in one tab and Store B in another, that data can collide. This is how you accidentally edit the wrong product on the wrong store, or even worse, open up security holes. Yeah, the old way of just juggling logins in a standard browser is super risky because of that shared data. The modern workflow solves this by using what's called a cloud browser. It runs each of your logins in its own completely isolated, secure session up in the cloud. No data is ever shared between your stores, and no risky code ever runs on your local computer. And this really gets to the heart of the solution. It's not about just buying a tool, it's about adopting a new workflow. By using a cloud browser, you can create a dedicated, isolated session for each and every store admin. Think of it like giving each of your stores its own clean, secure office to work from. It's a total game changer. And you know what? Getting started with this modern workflow is incredibly simple. You just create an account with a provider like Sendwin, you launch your cloud sessions for each store, and then you can even name and color code them to keep everything perfectly organized. You can be up and running with a secure, multi-login workflow in literally minutes.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So how do you actually put all of this into practice? Let's wrap this up with a concrete 90-day action plan to get you from that feeling of chaos to calm, cool control.
This roadmap just breaks the whole process down into really manageable steps. In the first couple of weeks, you'll decide on your architecture and you'll pilot a secure admin workflow. Then in month 2, you can roll out your inventory sync and start tuning performance. By month 3, you're ready to lock down security and finalize your governance. See, it's a completely achievable plan. And here it is, a final security checklist with the most important takeaways. First, use shop manager roles, not full admin rights. Second, run all your admin work in a cloud browser. This is often called remote browser isolation, or RBI. Third, enforce two-factor authentication absolutely everywhere. And finally, use application passwords for integrations, not your real user logins. This checklist alone will dramatically improve your security posture. So we'll just end on this question. You've built these amazing stores with incredible products that are ready to reach a global audience. The potential to scale is right there. But is your underlying workflow ready to handle that growth securely and efficiently? Now you have the playbook to make sure that it is.